where faith meets fierce advocacy. I'm Tiffany Lesnick, a Christian attorney and a survivor of domestic abuse. And today, we're diving into a topic that keeps so many women trapped longer than they should be: financial control. You've probably heard the phrase, "He controlled all the money," but I'm here to tell you that ends now. Today's episode is titled Financial Freedom After Abuse: Creating Your Financial Safety Plan. If you've ever felt stuck, broke, or unsure how to take your next step because of money, stay with me. You're about to learn how to take your first steps towards financial independence and legal protection. Financial abuse is one of the most invisible but devastating forms of control in abusive relationships. It doesn't always look like stealing. Sometimes it's denying you access to joint accounts, forcing you to account for every dollar you spend, running up debts in your name, sabotaging your ability to work, or punishing you financially for leaving. Here's the truth. Financial abuse is abuse, and it's power abuse. And it's often the number one reason women return to dangerous situations, because they don't think they can survive without the abuser's money. But scripture reminds us in Proverbs 6:6 to look towards the ant. Prepare your provision in the summer. Meaning ants are always busy, right? They're always busy gathering their food, gathering their provisions. And that means now. Today is the time to start laying your foundation and preparing your provisions. So what can you actually do? Let's talk first steps towards financial freedom. Number one, create an emergency budget. List only what's essential. What are you going to need for rent, groceries, gas, your children's needs, a phone? Remove all spending that doesn't support your survival or your strategy. Figure out your bottom line. What do you need each month to make ends meet? And then figure out how are you going to have the income in order to meet that bottom line. You need to have a little bit of a nest egg that's going to get you through several months. Can you borrow money from church, family, or friends? Do you need to get a job so you can supplement your income? Can you file for child support or alimony or maintenance in order to help meet that budget? But until you actually create a budget, you don't know what you actually need. Number two, create a bank account. Get a bank account for yourself. If it's safe, open a new checking account in your name only. Use a different bank other than the bank you use with your spouse for your joint account. Ideally, a bank that he doesn't know exists. Secure your online banking with new passwords and set up two-factor authentication so that you get that code that's sent to your phone or some other source in case he tries to hack into your bank account. Number three, run your credit report at annualcreditreport.com. You can freeze your credit with all three bureaus. You can also run a free credit check with Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion to prevent unauthorized use. See what's on your credit report. Make sure that he hasn't applied for a credit card or other debt in your name that you're unaware of. Look and see what kind of credit you have. So when you want to go apply for an apartment or anything else that requires good credit, you know where your standing is. Freeze your credit with all three of those bureaus. So Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And you can even issue a written statement that they will put on your credit report that you were in the process of separating and that you were subject to financial abuse from an abusive spouse. If debts were racked up in your name, document it for the court and keep those records safe. You want to have copies, take pictures, save them to a file, share them with a friend, a family member, somewhere where he can't destroy those records. If you're already separated or plan to, here's what you need to know about support enforcement, spousal support, and child support. File for support immediately. Don't wait. You have a right to be supported, especially if you've been financially dependent. It can take a while once you file for support to actually get a hearing date on the calendar. It can take several months. So that is why it is important to file right away. It also shows dependency when you file right away. If you wait too long, especially as it relates to spousal support, the court may say, well, you went for 6 months or a year without filing for support. It doesn't appear that you need support. So filing immediately will help show that you are dependent. Also, it's probably going to give you some leverage in negotiating with an abusive spouse because he's not going to want to pay support. So it'll give you the opportunity to potentially negotiate something with him in the form of a consent order or even a separation agreement so you can get support coming in sooner than later. If he's underpaying or refusing to pay support, you can file a motion for contempt or file a motion to enforce. If you don't have a lot of funds that are available to you, so if your budget is really, really tight, every single state has a child support enforcement agency. They charge a very, very nominal fee. In my state, North Carolina, it is $25. They will assign you a caseworker and an attorney to help you with your case. That $25 will last until your child turns 18 and graduates from high school. So that goes a long way. Child support enforcement also comes with the power of wage garnishment. So they can deduct his child support that he owes you directly from his paycheck each month, and then child support enforcement pays you the child support that you are owed, and you will not have to go through him. So that's just a helpful tip to know about. Just go to Google and search for your county child support enforcement, and you should be able to find the phone number that you can call to get your application started right away. So you want to start your financial safety net. This doesn't have to be thousands of dollars, but when you recognize that you are in an abusive relationship and you are thinking about leaving at some point in the future, start putting away as much cash as you possibly can. Whether you have a secret stash somewhere or you open up that separate bank account. It could be $10 or $20 saved from cash back at the grocery store. It could be money that you get back from your taxes. Maybe you have a little part-time job that you've been working on the side. Maybe it's gift money that you've received for birthdays or from your parents at Christmas. Any amount of money that you are receiving from any source, especially money that he doesn't know about, constantly be depositing that into a separate bank account or someplace safe that he is unaware about, and let that build. Look into places that can help you financially. Look into local women's shelters, food banks, community support, hardship grants. There are places where you can go for reduced income housing, food stamps, Medicaid, right? So if you go to your state's Department of Health and Human Services website, you can Google your state plus DHHS. They will likely have one page that lists all of the services and financial resources that are available for you. Start applying, start getting those applications, start getting those things in order, because again, that can take a little bit of time for those things to process. And it's possible the first time you apply that you might get denied, but apply again. If possible, you want to get a part-time job or maybe a contract job or a freelancing job that allows you control with your hours and your income, especially if you have children. You might need that control. One of the things that I did when I left my abusive spouse is I went back to school. And in doing that, I was able to apply for federal student aid. And I was able to live off of some of that federal student aid for several years while I put myself through law school. It helped me pay my bills and help me support my children and help me stay independent and away from my abuser. So this week's action step for you after this video has concluded is I want you to start your financial freedom binder and what goes in it. So you're going to work on your emergency budget, and that's going to go in there. I want you to start keeping copies of all financial documents that you find around the house. So whether you take a picture of it or you make a photocopy of it, any bank statements, retirement statements, taxes, pay stubs, credit card statements, anything that have numbers on it. And if you're afraid to open the mail, that's fine. But if you see anything come in from the mail that looks like it could be financial in nature, like it has a bank name on the front of it, or it has names like Northwestern, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, take a picture of those envelopes so that you can later show that he probably had accounts with those companies. Anything that's coming from the military, Social Security, disability, anything with those descriptions on the envelopes, you want to take a picture of those so you have those. Keep track. Any kind of support documents that you have, or court filings, any kind of court orders or any kind of court filings that he's been filing against you, keep all of that organized and in your binder. You want to be organized. You don't want to get disorganized and disarrayed, because that will get you off track. Keep a copy of your credit report in your binder and the date that you ran that credit report. Keep copies of receipts or records of financial abuse. If he has texted you or emailed you and demanded an accounting of what you've spent, or if he's told you that he's going to cut you off from the credit cards, or he's canceling one of your credit cards, or he's told you that he's taking you off the health insurance or the car insurance, or if you leave him, he's closing all the accounts and taking all of the money. That would be examples of financial abuse. Keep documentation of that, because you're going to need that later in the event that you file a support action. You can use that to show fault and the financial abuse that was occurring to help you have a better outcome in court. Any income or job leads you're exploring. If he tries to say that you could be earning additional income and you're not doing that, and the court should impute income to you, you want to show that you have been looking for employment or looking for jobs. Plus, if you are actively job searching, you want to keep track of the jobs that you've applied for. One, so you don't necessarily keep reapplying to the same jobs, but also so you can follow up with those job leads. If you follow up, you might be more likely to get an interview or have someone interested in you, because you're showing determination and interest, which many other applicants may not be doing. Write down, what are your future goals? Have a vision page for yourself. What does freedom look like for you? Not just your financial goals, but just your goals for your life. Write down on a piece of paper, what are my goals for myself? And keep them simple in the beginning. You don't want to get overwhelmed. But keep those goals and objectives for yourself in that financial freedom binder too. So you can keep going back and looking at those goals and at that page to help keep you motivated. And you will notice over time, after the passage of a few months, you will be really surprised at how much progress you are actually making towards those goals. And it should help encourage you to keep moving forward, because you can do it. This binder is going to be a financial weapon for you. It's your way of preparing, right? Like those ants that are collecting all the food and taking them back to their main nest. Not when everything is perfect, but now, before the storm hits. We want to be in preparation. We want to be proactive. We don't want to be doing all of these things when we're in crisis or when we are in a panic mode. Remember, you are not defined by what he said. You are not limited by what's in your wallet or what's missing from your account. You are a daughter of the Most High God, and with his help, you are rebuilding a life of freedom, wisdom, and strength. One decision, one document, one step at a time. If you would like more information about how to protect yourself from financial abuse, legal abuse, and other forms of domestic abuse, If you would like legal templates, access to legal templates, access to legal documents, guides, other resources, I would encourage you to please go to my website at www.livefreelegal.com and consider joining our Empower Her private membership. It is only $35 per year. It gives you access to our legal resource page where we have templates and documents and legal guides. We have a financial freedom checklist that's on there, plus many other guides on other topics like domestic abuse, preparing for court, custody, evidence preparation. Lots and lots of resources available for you. It also gives you the ability to join one of our private Facebook groups where other women going through the same types of situations that you are going through can support one another and share information with one another. You also have access to a weekly devotional that is published to help encourage and inspire you week after week, and other resources on our website. And we have a free legal Q&A once a month where you can ask any legal questions related to abuse and domestic issues. We do a lunch and learn at noon the third Thursday of every month. It's only available to our Empower Her members. I would also encourage you to consider joining one of our coaching groups. We have 12-week coaching groups, intensive groups that meet once a week for about an hour with a Q&A that follows at the end of each group that you can consider joining. Join our waitlist now for our group that will be starting in the fall. You can also do that at our website and get much more in-depth information to help you on your legal journey. If you want to help other victims of domestic abuse, especially those stuck in the legal system, please like and subscribe our channel. We are trying to educate and help as many women as we can, but we cannot do that without your help. Help us be a sisterhood, and let's make this a month where we set our sisters free. Join us next week for Freedom Through Community: How to Build a Legal Support Team That Has Your Back. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All this month, for the month of July, we are talking about stepping into freedom and how to build our independence. I am praying for your strength, your courage, and your freedom. You are not just surviving, you are preparing to overcome. Until next time, stay safe and stay empowered.